Friday, July 3rd. Use worldly wealth to gain friends. Luke 16, verse 1 through 15. Jesus told his disciples, there was a rich man whose manager was accused of wasting his possessions. So he called him in and asked him, "What is this I hear about you? Give an account of your management, because you cannot be manager any longer." The manager said to himself, "What shall I do now? My master is taking away my job. I am not strong enough to dig, and I am ashamed to beg. I know what I'll do so that when I lose my job here, people will welcome me into their houses." So he called in each of his master's debtors. He asked the first, "How much do you owe my master?" 800 gallons of olive oil," he replied. The manager told him, "Take your bill, sit down quickly, and make it 400. Then he asked the second, "And how much do you owe?" 1,000 bushels of wheat," he replied. He told him, "Take your bill and make it 800. The master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly, for the people of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own kind than are the people of the light. I tell you, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. So if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? And if you have not been trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you property of your own? No servant can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." The Pharisees who loved money heard all this and were sneering at Jesus. He said to them, "You are the ones who justify yourselves in the eyes of men, but God knows your hearts. What is highly valued among men is detestable in God's sight." Part 1. How to use money and why. A rich man found out his manager was wasteful, so he called him to give an account and fired him. The manager knew himself. He was weak and proud. He did not know what the debtors owed his master, but he was shrewd. One by one, he authorized steep discounts on their debt with one goal in mind: when I lose my job, people will welcome me into their houses. His master commended his shrewd act. Jesus' point is, use worldly wealth to gain friends. This is how to use money. Jesus values friendship more than money, jobs, and reputation. He gave up everything to be friends of sinners like you and me, to be with us eternally. Part 2. You cannot serve both God and money. We are to be trustworthy, and money is a way God tests us in this. All that we have is not our own, but has been entrusted to us by God. How we use money reveals who our master is, God or money. Pharisees who loved money used their resources to maintain religious and political power, crushing others. It is easy to justify ourselves before people, but God sees our heart. Prayer. Father, thank you for Jesus who gave his life for his friends. Help me to follow his example. One word: gain friends for eternity.